I came from a family that could not tolerate breaches, between us without coming back together again. Just felt the pain of that, and so my father was really big on that, and so that's where I kind of got that from. Is that sense of, if the relationships are most important, then in distress, people pull together, and when there's an argument, there's an apology. And, because it's just too disruptive in a day, any day, to be off with someone that you care about.
Welcome to the Relationship Psychologist Podcast, a place where we dive deep into all things relationships. I'm Dana Mullen.
And I'm Alicia Hinger, and we are soul sisters, besties, and psychologists who are on a mission to change the culture of relationships.
Each week, we will discuss our expertise in the field of psychology, interview experts, spiritual leaders, and real people. Our goal in every episode is to give our listeners tools to implement in their lives today.
This podcast is not therapy, nor should it be a substitute for therapy, but instead we're here to motivate, support, and guide your conscious journey in this life.
The best way to support our podcast is to subscribe and give it a 5-star review.
Thanks so much for joining. Let's dive in. Welcome to a truly special podcast episode featuring an extraordinary couple whose love and expertise radiate through their every word. Today, we have the honor of diving into the dynamic world of relationships with relationship expert Dr. Stan Tatkin and his remarkable partner, Dr. Tracey Boldemann Tatkin. Stan Tatkin, a renowned clinical therapist, researcher, and author of many books and articles, has dedicated his career to unraveling the mysteries of human connections. His groundbreaking research on attachment theory and secure functioning has transformed countless lives, offering invaluable guidance in cultivating thriving relationships. With his vast expertise, Stan has touched the hearts and minds of individuals and couples around the globe. By Stan's side stands his beloved wife, Tracey, a beacon of wisdom. Together they embody a living testament to the principles they teach, gracefully navigating the ebbs and flows of their own journey as a couple. Tracey's insights and experiences add heartfelt, real-world perspective to the rich tapestry of their wisdom. Tracey is a humanitarian, the director of various philanthropic foundations, and the co-executive and co-founder of PACT. To us, Tracey is the organization, a gentle smile and a genuine friend. We are so lucky and blessed to have learned from these two for so long. In this episode, we have the privilege of unraveling the intricacies of their relationship as we join Stan and Tracey in an intimate conversation. From their own personal journey to the practical tools and sage advice they share. Be prepared to embark on a transformative experience that will leave you with deep understanding of love, of growth, and the power of true partnership, as this extraordinary couple invites us to join them on a voyage through the depths of human connection and their own relationship. We're so thankful, Stan and Tracey. Thanks for being here.
Really good. So happy to have you guys here. We're so happy that you guys made time. I know you guys are so busy and you guys mean the world to us. So
seriously. As you do to us. And so otherwise we wouldn't be up at 7:30 in the morning. Right. And as you know, I'm kind of the back of the room, quieter person. So to step out of...
No, she's no longer that way. She won't.
No, not today, Tracey.
Yeah.
You're front and center.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted you guys as a couple. We wanted, because Stan's on 1,000 podcasts and all of us stuff is amazing and great. But people can listen to that anywhere. We want the two of you. I think, really have a unique perspective of the two of you that maybe strangers that don't know you don't get to have. So I'm like, we get to bring on the two of you and ask about your relationship.
Yeah.
If you're going to let us.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we were up this morning. We went over them last night.
This morning fighting.
Oh, good.
Your list.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, wait, challenges. Do we have any challenges? It seems like they go away so fast.
I know we had a really hard time thinking of challenges.
Well, who wants more cats? Yeah.
Challenges. Running the institute.
Oh, wait, let's get on. Let's start.
Well,
yes. First off, we just want to say also that you guys, you've inspired us so much. So not only just training with you, Stan, and it feels like you, Tracey, as well, because you've always been there. You guys have been a mentor couple for us, and you've changed. I remember the first time I started training, I came home and every relationship in my life had changed, like every single relationship. And I remember just feeling like this was it. Seeing you guys together also in the training and feeling just a calmness in your presence. So as a therapist, we're anxious when we go to training, and seeing how you two took care of each other and the energy of like love and just communicating from a distance, just by eye contact and little sighs, was just so peaceful. And so that's my first memory of you guys that I wanted to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And fun fact about Tracey is that I think you guys are great at taking care of each other, but Stan's not great at goodbyes, as we know. And that's, you keep him, you're focused on his health and just knowing it's time to go to bed, like in Spain when he was just like wanting to keep saying goodbye and talking. And you're like, that's it, time to go. So,
truth be told, she's gotten a little bit like me.
Oh.
And so I have to pull her out. She
sometimes, but it's called the Tatkin goodbye. You'd go to his parents' house and you need to say goodbye when you got there. Yeah. Because it was another 45 minutes. And it was so sweet. His dad would come outside and then he'd walk next to the car as you were backing out of the driveway. Like, are you sure you don't need anything, dog? Are you sure you need some money? Are you guys okay? It just was like the sweetest thing.
And then we get home and he was still attached to the door.
Not true. He makes things up. Yeah. Thank you for that.
It's true.
Actually, we feel so blessed. We don't know how we got so lucky.
Yeah.
But when we got together, we both had been in previous marriages, and we just thought, we're two intelligent people. We can make this work. We can do it differently this time. And so that was the
saying that. Did we say that?
Yeah, we did.
By the light of the moon.
I said it. I said it, and you followed. So yeah.
Well, that's our first question, kind of.
Yeah,
is kind of to tell us about your relationship and how you met. And I mean, I love that's one of Stan's questions that he implanted in my brain years ago when I would see couples. I'm like, tell me how you met and tell me why you picked each other and tell me how you fell in love and tell us some of the goods.
You want to say how we met? I always say it. Why don't you say it?
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So we knew each other in high school and junior high, actually. So we met in 7th grade science class.
Nice.
Aww.
And then, but Stan you were into music. He was much more serious. And
I wore all black all the time.
No, he was so serious. And I was not. I was like track surfer, that kind of person. And so, and then he hung out with the art crowd, especially in high school. There was like certain areas in the lawn you would sit. And they were the one that read they wore black and read depressing poetry.
We wrote depressing poetry.
I love this.
And you can see me in that, right?
No.
In poetry. No.
Yeah.
So we knew of each other and we were on different tracks. But unbeknownst to me,
I just realized that I did something my father did. I would walk around school and just think. That's what I would do. You'd often see me by myself walking around and thinking about stuff. But anyway, so I had a crush on you, and you never knew it. Junior high and I think in high school as well. But we were we had different tracks. She was more of a surfer girl and ran track, and I always saw her as the popular girl.
Right. You're reading poetry behind her, and she's like running faster down the track.
I was in music starting, when I was even in junior high. So I think
he was a studio musician.
My life was mostly outside of school.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were squarely planted in school socially. I wasn't.
When we go to our reunions, it's like, now we take the same car, but the first number, the 10-year, 20, we would take different cars because I want to stay and goof around with my friends and stuff. A lot of them I still see.
Yeah.
Where Stan's like, I want out of here. I'm done. I've seen the 10 people I wanted to see.
Yeah. At the reunions, it's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've looked at the dead board. I'm not on it. And
we do. We have a dead board.
It's dead board.
Oh, that's sad.
Did you read poetry to the dead board?
We call it the dead board because
I'm sure other people do too.
I've been on the committee. And so I was 1 year responsible for getting the pictures
for the dead board.
Oh no.
So the dead board was at home with us. And so we named it the dead board.
There's a little space, your name here.
Yeah.
So what happened was, I had, my marriage ended and like 5 years later, I didn't date, I wanted to find out why I totally picked the wrong person for me. Mm-hmm. And I had a child. So I was focusing on my daughter. I was focused on work and figuring out, how do I do life like I want to do life? And I had just started to date and I get an email from Stan, and his marriage about a year before that
crashed and burned. And he reached out and it took us a few months before we went hiking by where we used to live. His parents still live there. We had an email exchange for a while.
Yeah. You were doing the Gottman training, I remember too.
For the second time up in Seattle.
And so we started, and we weren't really dating. We were kind of like friends.
Yeah.
So Stan was the Walking Dead. We'll just, he was still coming out of this marriage.
This is amazing.
And so you were, like,
I was not attractive. Let's put it that way.
And we often look at why
I used to. Let's put it this way. I moved into an apartment with all temporary furniture. I made sure all of it was blow up furniture.
Plastic.
Wow.
Blow up the chairs, everything, the bed, everything. I wanted to be completely temporary. And actually it was good because when I moved out, all I had to do is just
pop it and throw it in the trash.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I think I got one big bean bag thing, like where 3 people could lie on it.
Okay, but all of his electronics were
top notch.
Yeah,
top notch. We know Stan is techies.
I had my computer and my game, stick and everything.
Yeah.
But I was big on gummy bears. I was a gummy bear addict, and I'd lock myself out at night with Ambien. I'd forget my keys.
And you go to the local whatever and go buy bags of gummy bears. So and we were at a hotel, and I'd be eating gummy bears and crying in the hall. And that was really attractive. So
this is like, I'll pick that one. Thank you.
Yeah, and I did. I was like, I knew that here's this nice man who's going through mourning, and so we did. I hung through it, which sometimes I'm surprised that
I'm surprised you did too.
And it came to a point. We were at his nephew's wedding.
Was that the point? Well, that was a point.
That was the point
for
me.
When was the mountain trip? Was it right after that?
About
because that's when I
later.
asked you.
I know.
So that wasn't the point.
Well, so no, but that was the point where the family, it's an Orthodox wedding. The family's all getting together for
Orthodox Jewish,
and I'm not in the pictures. So everyone's getting
she's
up.
a woman. That's why, because
no, because I'm not family. I'm the girlfriend.
The girlfriend,
it's because she was
right?
blonde.
And so I was like, I'm about a year into this, and this is not how I envisioned my life going.
And I said, "You're my girlfriend. That's special."
And I'm like, because I left. I literally left. I was walking down the street. Stan noticed me leaving, and he was like.
I lived on Stanley Avenue at the time.
We were on
down
Stanley Avenue.
Stanley Avenue.
Wow.
Stanley ran after Stanley.
Right.
If only I had Stan the horse.
Stan
could have been on Stanley. Stanley could have been on Stan.
Stanley could have been on Stanley Avenue. Yes.
Yeah. And so he's like, "What's wrong? You're my girlfriend." I'm like, "I don't want to be. I'm too old to be someone's. I want a life partner. You have 6 months." And then,
I can't argue because I don't remember that.
As much as I love you, I'm out. I want a life partner.
Yeah.
And so then we went to Mammoth.
And so immediately I asked you to marry me.
No, you did not.
Right there on Stanley Avenue on Stan.
No. No. He was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh.
Really? I said that. Oh, okay. That coquettish. That like, oh.
I don't remember what you said.
What did you think, Stan, back then when she said that to you? You had 6 months.
I don't remember saying that. So I don't know. I'm sure I was a little worried.
So then a few months later, we went to Mammoth for, I think it was 4th of July or something.
Something like that.
And we had been kayaking all day on the lake. And then we got home that night.
Well, you missed the part.
What?
She's in front of me on the kayak wearing this sun hat.
My goofy hats that I wear.
And it was very, very quiet. And Joanna was in another boat with one of our friends.
Joanna's our daughter.
Joanna's our daughter. And so I was sitting in front of her, and then suddenly she just reminded me of a painting, that on a kayak with a sun hat. No, I was thinking about her, and I thought, I could spend the rest of my life with her.
That was the moment.
That was the moment. Yeah.
That was the moment.
Aww.
There were a few moments, and then there were a few moments.
Yeah.
But that was the night that he proposed to me.
Yeah.
And you guys, the fear in his face when the words came out, it was like he said it, and then he was like,
well, there was a mountain lion behind you.
No, I could see that. Shit, I just said that out loud. And I knew he wanted to.
Stan, use your inside voice.
Right?
Yes.
What about the blow up furniture? What are you going to do with that now?
Right. Can I bring it?
Can I bring it with me?
So I said yes, but then the next morning, I said to you, I know you were panicked when you said that last night, and so if you want to take it back,
oh.
And he said, no, I meant it, but I'm scared.
No. And I told her that when I'm in, I'm fully in.
Yeah.
When I'm in, I'm all the way.
Mm.
And so and that didn't happen. That didn't really happen until our wedding night.
Yeah.
When I stayed up and I cut together our video and photographs actually.
Photographs, yeah, we didn't.
Photographs, and I made a video to Caroline, I Love You by James Taylor. And that became one of our songs. And after that, I was in hook, line, and sinker.
That's it.
And that was it. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That is. And back
23 years ago.
23 years ago.
High five.
And so back then, was PACT started yet, or was this when
I
did this start becoming developed?
I wrote a paper early. That was the first. When was that?
PACT really. Well, PACT was. We moved here in 2002, and that's really when
First paper I wrote was 2003.
Yeah. So we have this man-made lake by our house. And Stan was just integrating all of this mother infant and then adult attachment and Alan Shore's work and all this different work that he was integrating. And we would walk the 3 miles around the lake and he would teach it to me. And so because that integrated it into him and it made sense and it gave verbiage to it.
Yeah.
And so that's really when it started.
I couldn't stop. It felt like a stroke,
Downloads.
I just kept getting these creative bursts, and I believe that it was because I was starting to feel secure.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking.
The relationship muse, like the muse of the relationship, like
muse of the relationship. Yeah. I've been leading a study group for a while in my office called the Calabasas Study Group, and just things started to click for me.
Yeah.
Not only because I had a lot of resources available because I felt secure with Tracey, but also because Tracey and our relationship also became a model for secure functioning.
Yeah.
How can we do it right this time?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's when I met you. So I didn't know it was that early on, but I met you in Seattle at a study group. And we were at Gottman training and someone said, "Hey, have you heard of this Stan guy?" I'm like, "Nope." So I popped over to wherever the hotel was that you're teaching at. And I popped into your study group.
That was about 2008 or 9, maybe, when we started doing study group.
Okay.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
What was different for you guys, like for both of you coming from being married before? what started to become different where you started to feel secure? Because I mean, you had background in understanding, obviously attachment relationships stem from your experience as a clinician, but what did you guys start to consciously create in your relationship? Like what was different in this relationship than in your past marriages?
Well, I'd say in my past relationships, period, Tracey had an answer for this. She had this Swiss cheese theory, which I think is valid, actually.
It's making sandwiches.
Right?
If we're all a slice of Swiss cheese, each with holes in the cheese, if our holes line up, we're probably not going to make it. And I always picked women where our holes lined up. Where I felt that, I needed to be rescued, but I played the rescuer. And so, and so that became a problem later on when I started to realize in terms of arousal regulation, that bode poorly in terms of co-regulation. And so, but Tracey and our holes don't line up.
Yeah.
We're very, very different. And so the things that would activate me don't activate her, and vice versa. So in some little ways, there are little overlap, but nothing major. And so I think we were, what was that look?
I'm listening.
I think we were first naturally good at co-regulating states, in particular distress states.
Yeah.
And that had never happened before.
And there's just a different intention that we came into this relationship with, kind of that like, well, we love each other, so everything will work out kind of mentality, where we came in knowing, okay,
that's not true.
That's not true. So there's work and intention. But when I say work in the relationship, it's more about, I like to think about it as tending the garden, is that you're cleaning up the weeds, you're keeping the relationship clean. You're bringing in roses and you're putting them in a little flower vase in your house. All of that is what a relationship can be. And when I looked at it that way, and I also looked at it, even though, my last marriage, I thought, oh, this is forever. In the back of your mind, you're like, yeah. And I didn't come in that way. It's like, okay, this one's going to work. This is it. And so we're just going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I had a willing partner.
Yeah. Like Stan said, like when I'm in, I'm all in. That creates that foundation of safety and security. So,
and I'm that way. When I'm in, I'm all in. So,
right? Yeah. Yeah.
And because of how different we were, that she was more strange. She had more strangeness than I had frequently been, accustomed to. And so it took me a while. I didn't fall immediately head over heels. I mean, the crush I had on her was a kid crush, so I didn't really know her. But it was a gradual thing, falling in love. And I think that also gave me and us time to become friends.
Yeah, build a relationship.
Build a relationship.
Yeah.
And there's so many things, but I'd say the biggest thing is that resources were freed up on both of our ends, I think.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Massive, right? We're talking about like automating each other. And if I have free resources now to actually see you and spend time with you and tune into you. And it's a massive topic that we could segue into. But you guys probably don't have, like you said, you don't have many, complaints and conflict. But I'm curious, advice for each other or for people listening, especially conflict where you misalign. So you're not the same on all things. Maybe you have different political or religious views, or I don't know, something, or how many cats to get in your house or whatever. For us, it's usually a dog fight. How many more dogs I want or horses I want. Jay's like, enough. But how do you navigate conflict, especially when it's a misalignment?
Well, okay. So I'm thinking back to the beginning, and one of the things I would get so mad about was how you would offer me up for things or my stuff.
I would give people the shirt off my back, right?
And mine.
But then I offer it for my family too. Yeah. Oh, Stan, sure, you want his jacket?
Yeah.
He doesn't need it.
That's so me.
Yes.
And so
take this seat. Stands up.
You're my people, Tracey. You're my people.
Yeah.
That's so me.
It's just the way I was raised in community and here, fine. Yeah. Totally. I don't need it. Our daughter, she's like, oh, can I borrow that? I'm like, you can have it. Fine.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so, but I would also offer it up for Stan or actually for our daughter too.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. So that would be, but I learned I can only do mine. I can't offer his. Right. I can ask you sometimes, would you mind? And then I make him look like a shit.
And I think I became more aware of my neediness through you.
Your neediness?
Yeah. Because I remember in the beginning, I remember when I was moving, you set me up with a mover and then you went out somewhere. And there's some arrangement that was just off or something. I don't know what it was. And you said, chill with it.
Again, we're talking 23 years ago. I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
So there were things that were being ironed out.
Yeah.
In the beginning, because there is no way to not be annoying in some way, or to step on each other's toes, or do what were you thinking, or who does that, or whatever.
Yeah. But with conflict, everyone's going to get in conflict. You just are part of nature, and really, what it is to get to that quick repair. Yeah. Is whoever comes back online. Again, you're talking about the window of tolerance. You're both up here. You're in conflict. Whoever comes down there just goes, oh, we're doing it again, aren't we? Mm-hmm. To regulate, bring your partner back on. And then you can have a conversation where it's not heated. Mm-hmm. You clean it up in the moment and then you don't remember it. It doesn't go into long-term memory. Yeah. So when we try and think about our conflicts, we don't really remember having them and we know we have them.
Yeah.
But you clean it up in the moment, you take that time and tie it up.
So what you're referring to is so when we're in a hyper aroused state, we can't think.
Yeah.
And we're much more primitive and one person oriented. But as soon as, at least for me, as soon as I have it in my head that I'm aware that I'm angry, or aware that I'm staying angry, that's when I realize I have the responsibility of coming back and fixing it.
Yeah. What about when you're just kind of in that stubborn, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm the only stubborn one here, but I'm like, I'm aware of it. And I know I should probably just touch your toe like you guys do. And I'm like, I don't want to.
I go through that. I don't know what Tracey will have to speak for herself. I go through that with Joanna. I go through that with Tracey. But we have an agreement.
Right.
We have an agreement, and I signed on to that agreement. And I also know from previous experience that whenever I do that, I feel better right away. Yeah. So I'm suffering.
Yeah.
And when I do it, my self-esteem goes up.
Yeah.
So it works, and so I do it.
Yeah.
That has carried over, by the way, in my life with a lot of other people.
Yeah, other relationships.
A lot of other people, including students and my siblings, and so it takes a while to grow up and to do the right thing when it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah,
but it's worth it, and we live it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn like you are. And yet I know that I'm in distress as well. And it just, I think those things like, oh, I could do this and he would feel really bad. Right. And then I think, but then I'd feel bad too. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let it go.
Yeah.
She would do, I would do some wave things like, I'd get angry and I'd go out on the couch, just, waiting for it to come out.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't.
No, yeah. She's my people.
Yeah.
Please get up there.
Yeah. And then I'd either just go back to bed, or I'd stay out there and,
or I'd say,
are you done?
Are you done? Are you done pouting? You want to come to bed now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, there are things like this along the way where we, kind of trained each other into things. And then it became formal. Then it became, secure functioning ideas. right? That we started to consolidate.
Yeah, it became part of our daily life.
Yeah.
Like I think one of the is like if either of us are in distress, the other drops what they're doing and ministers to the other. And that, we do. And so, it's been, it's hard to explain. It's earned love, earned respect, earned admiration and appreciation. And so that is what we actually want others to experience, not the kind of love or, the excitement that just washes over us every now and then, but the kind that that's inspired every day because of what we do.
Yeah, it's that slow burn.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so important to put the relationship first.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really strange to some people.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other factors that are drawing
which is why
attention.
we sold our daughter.
Well,
we needed the money.
Price though.
We needed the money. I wanted a car.
Well, you met her. You know how cute she is.
She's great. Yeah.
Actually, she's staying here, so she's probably listening to this.
She's here this morning.
She's like, excuse me.
I love that you just said that though, Tracey, that the relationship comes first. I always tell my couples too. I think of a neon sign above my head that says, if my relationship comes first, what do I do? So anytime I'm in that place of, like, I know I'm right. I know internally everything is saying that I'm right. I'm like, if my relationship comes first, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then I soften and then I just see something totally different. It just is a veil of a totally different energy and lens to see my relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just does.
You get, I came from a family that could not tolerate breaches between us without coming back together again. Just felt the pain of that. And so my father was really big on that. And so that's where I kind of got that from, is that sense of, if the relationships are most important, then in distress, people pull together, and when there's an argument, there's an apology. And because it's just too disruptive in a day, any day to be off with someone that you care about. Right?
Yeah. And luckily I came from the same type of family. So in our family, including Joanna, we get to repair right away because we're suffering.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like I drive away, to go to work or do something. I'm like, oh shit.
It's going to be a harder day.
A harder day. And so I will, text Nan and say, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And I sell parents on that, because sometimes parents are, especially new parents, it's a hard sell. And I'm like, the relationship needs to be first. They're like, but what about my kid? And so I try to sell them on this, a visual of like, well, if you're in the boat, you're in the couple bubble together, your bubble feeds your kids. If the bubble's breaking or cracked, you're feeding it, a cracked bubble, you're feeding it.
Right. If you're in charge of everyone and everything, and you who are the leaders, head of household, the roof of the house, everyone and everything then is depending on you to be okay. Yeah. Otherwise, everyone isn't.
So we do roof of the house and just like the couple bubble. And then I always explain, and especially me coming, bringing in a biological daughter, right? Mm-hmm. Is that we resource each other. So we're better parents.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's why it comes first. It's not like you're ignoring your kids or, you're putting them in a closet and going out of town for a week.
Selling them.
Yeah, or selling them.
I think what made us work is not that we didn't have struggles and not that we didn't have to learn. Was that both of us, I think, were game to do this properly. And it has been a team approach the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
We do it properly, and we want to have fun.
Yeah. Well, isn't that key kind of for everything we do as therapists too? Like people come in our office with all kinds of stuff, but if they're both really game, they're both all in. Yeah. Really, it doesn't matter if it's an affair or whatever breaches are happening in the relationship. We can give them the tools and kind of the map. They got to be all in.
Yeah.
If they're not all in, then we're trying to sell someone or trying to, decide if it's a deal breaker or not. But
absolutely.
Okay. So can I pick it? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I have a quick question. How about self-care for you guys? This actually wasn't on my list, but it's come up as you're talking about taking care and nurturing the relationship.
But since COVID, I think it's time. It's the time of the year to take a shower, I think.
That's
humor, self-care.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. But how do you guys take care of yourself? So to be able to nurture your relationship.
Time in morning.
Our mornings. So we get up earlier in the mornings and we just spend time connecting. I love, I'll grab his hand and I'll go like this and I'll just lie there
on my chest
on him. And he's trying to stay awake. So he's trying to keep his hand here and it keeps dropping. Because he didn't fall back asleep and drop again. And I'm like, it's okay. Just let it drop. And it's just that kind of purring that we can do.
Yeah. And then I'll go in her lap and she'll tickle my back. This is kind of a routine.
I love it.
We have a routine every morning.
So we make that connection in the morning.
Yeah.
And y'all know us, we're both workaholics. And so downtime is not a word we know.
Yeah, it's not well, I'm
we're getting better about it.
I'm better at that because I'm lazy.
No, but then I'll walk in and I'll say, "Oh, honey, did you get this done? This done? This done?" So we because we have goals and we have things that we want to finish and accomplish, and so there's work behind that. So it's really morning is the most tender time, and then we go to bed together as well.
And we also push each other. Like I was very excited that she went back to school to get her master's.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah,
she's liking it.
Right, Dr. Tracey.
I know. It's just silly.
And so we've always supported each other in our work. She'll push me on books.
And he'll push me. I mean, he allowed me when Joanna was in high school to go back to grad school and earn and patient enough not just to work with me through one master's, but 2 masters and my PhD. And I would never have accomplished that before, but his support and Joanna's support and encouragement and, letting the garage look like.
Yeah, it still does.
I know. I swear I go back to school because I really don't want to deal with a garage.
There's that. That works.
And so with this one, you're so encouraging to me. I'll come home and I'll talk about a case, or I'll talk about what I learned, or I'll ask him questions about, what's this diagnosis? What do you think?
It's so exciting.
And so now we have another level that we share together. So I think one of the questions that you had put to us was, how do we go out and do things in the world? Well, so much of it is based on the fact that we don't worry about our relationship. Right. We don't worry if we're going to exist tomorrow. Right. That's off the table.
Yeah.
So then you can and you've got someone's like pushing you, saying, "Yay, you can do it." You've got a cheerleader behind you.
Yeah.
And so you can go out and conquer the world. And
we also don't have any threat. And we have very, very low interpersonal stress.
So that's, not everybody gets to have that. I mean, that's a blessing, and it's built into our relationship.
Yeah.
And then there's simple things that I think you guys know me. I'm an functioner. So I'm like, oh, sure, I'll take that on. I'll take that on. I'll take that on. And
it's a good gig.
But she's giving away your shirts.
As I'm giving away the shirt off his back. But I really had to learn going to school and doing, oh, hi, Kitty.
Hi.
Backed out. She goes, oh, I'm sorry.
Never
You're not my mom.
You always need a dog or a cat for a good Zoom call.
We have 2 dogs and 2 cats right here. There's another one over there. Yeah.
Okay. But they've got to be on the screen. They've got to walk. And what was I saying? Is that Stan? Then when I started seeing clients and things, I had a family talk. I can't doing all I'm doing. So we had to go get our COVID and our flu shots. And so Stan picked up the forms and he filled out my form for me. Little things like that.
That's something we do, is we worry about each other's health.
Like you're in my care. Like I literally take good care of you and your health. And I've also seen you, Tracey, many a times at trainings, Stan, did you drink this and have eaten this, and making sure that he's doing his things.
He's in the moment doing what he's doing.
Right.
And so he's just all about teaching and just loving doing that. And so I can be on the outside saying, okay, here's the time that we have to be finished. I'm watching the schedule and watching.
That's another way that we're very different. Tracey is very organized and much more linear than I am. I'm much more circular, and that suits a creative side of me, but it can also be irritating because I can go off in tangents and go off everywhere. She pulls me back in, and so we have checks and balances, kind of a yin and yang,
and we do it by agreement.
You guys are good.
By agreement.
You guys have your agreements, and you guys also have we talk about a vision with our couples all the time. Do you guys have a vision of where you see even your relationship in 5 or 10 years? Do you guys have shared goals as a couple?
It depends. It depends on the election turnout.
You're going to move here anyway and live on the acreage with me, I think, right?
Right. It really depends. We're in discussions about that.
We're looking at Portugal.
We're in you know what Portugal?
Portugal sounds nice.
You know that?
No.
They do not. They're getting tired of Americans, right?
Like trying to.
It was a good idea while it lasted, and now it's like, I think we've had enough of you.
Come live at Alicia.
Yeah. Got lots of room and lots of cats for you.
Yes.
And what about, I want to ask about the communication stuff.
Okay.
So, understand, and you guys are
before we do that, hold on, sit on for a second.
Okay.
One quick question. Tracey mentioned fun. How do you guys keep that spark, that fun, that playfulness, and even into intimacy? How do you keep, because you're busy and you're working and you're running institutes and you guys are like high achieving power couple stuff, and you have these soft moments, but how do you keep the intimacy and those other sparks alive? And what do you say to couples, even people listening? What's kind of some advice for couples listening to how to keep that spark?
We actually, throughout every day, people probably would get like they go,
but we love the cheese. Tell us the cheese.
We're constantly making contact at different times, eye contact. I love you. I so appreciate everything you did this morning. I'm so lucky, right? You're so beautiful. You're so handsome. I mean, we do this throughout the day, and when we're not in person, we text or we send goofy pictures of ourselves or videos or just emojis. So we're really big on that, and we do that really throughout every day.
Nice.
I was trying to think of.
Do you love me?
I do.
Will you marry me?
I will.
Okay.
So cheesy.
So
we are so cheesy.
You are. I love it.
There's of course, science behind this. It's not just because of the automation issue of taking partners for granted and thinking you know them, and so we're still curious about each other, and we share novelty. We love to travel, love traveling and working, especially because we're people, and we enjoy meeting people, and we're also very nosy people. We like figuring people out.
I say curious.
Curious,
yeah. Sounds nicer.
We made great detectives in another life. We're
right?
Like Nick and Nora detectives, and we're going to have a little dog named Astra.
Astra, I think. Yeah.
Adam Sandler's show where they're detectives.
I love it.
Right. We would be spies or detectives. But
it'd be a comedy. I think it'd be a comedy though. If I was it'd be a comedy show. Serious. Tracy be serious and Stan would be the comedy detective.
Yes.
We're gonna write that script. We're gonna write you a script. I got it.
Okay, good.
Got it. Yeah.
I don't know if I can be serious.
Serious?
Okay.
But yeah, we'll introduce some novelty by usually new places, new things.
Yeah.
And share the excitement and we're just and intimacy. I mean, that's part of intimacy, but the other is our tender and romantic times that we do.
A lot of romance, and and building, exciting love, again, through novelty, but also quiet love, where we're just quiet together.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was thinking last night, when you were in junior high or high school, when we were there, would you have ever imagined that we'd be sitting here being interviewed?
Right.
Relationship.
Little Stanley Tatkin.
It's, she still calls me that. No.
I love it. That's funny. That's because that's kind of me and Jay, like the same thing. We were elementary school and he was kind of that like nerdy kid and right. Same exact thing. I think that's why he loves you guys so much. In my house, just, often he's like, what would Stan say? I'm phoning Tracey. I'm like, oh, Jay. Like he threatens it all the time. I'm going to phone those guys and see what they would say about this.
Tell him he's got our number.
It's true.
It's pure serendipity.
It is serendipity. Yeah. It is. It's pure. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's serendipity that you're together, but I think there's that intention.
Yes.
That, we're gonna see this through. Yeah. And we've got a big sandbox to play in. So let's play fair and let's do this right.
Here's another thing.
Okay, you look so sick.
Well, because I rubbed my eyes.
You're like, okay, here's another thing. Walter.
I miss Walter. Okay, so when I met Tracey, when we met her and we were spending time together, I couldn't stop kind of cavelling about her to friends in terms of a real person, not, her character, her goodness, her moral compass, the way she treats others, that she's a do-gooder. That alerted me to when you find someone that's probably real, that's going to make a difference, that's a good sign when you're thinking of all the virtues of somebody. Yeah. Right. And I've always paid attention when I was seeing single clients to whether they were talking about someone like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And all of those things are true today.
Yeah.
All the things that, that I thought, with a few contradictions, like she says that she's not neurotic in the beginning. Well, she's neurotic.
I said I was low maintenance.
Oh, wow. Oh, nobody's low maintenance.
Nobody's low maintenance.
Oh my God.
Relationships are high maintenance.
Yeah.
Right. Or that she doesn't do guilt. Oh, she does it.
Oh, I do it beautifully.
Better
I do
than
it
my
really
mother.
love. Oh my goodness.
Better than my mother. And so, there's a few little things, but on the big things, in terms of character, she's remained the real deal. And
as have you. Yeah. So that's what we looked for in each other. And I think that's why I stayed with the person that was eating gummy bears and crying in the corner at a hotel, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw the character of who was there. This is a very good man.
Yes.
Someone that I could be a partner with, someone that could be a really good stepdad to my daughter, someone I could build a life with.
Yeah.
You saw my parents too, and you saw that they were always together and in love, and
they were so sweet. And his dad was so cute, because his mom was in and out of the hospital early on in our relationship, and so I would go and be with the dad at the hospital, and because Stan lived on the other part of town, and he'd be working, and so I had a more flexible schedule, so I'd go and hang out with him, and then Stan's dad said to the rest of the family, "You be really nice to Tracey. She's like a ray of sunshine in this family." He was so cute.
Yeah. Tracey, again, very different from our family culture. First of all, being Christian, and secondly, just her style.
Wearing orange pants to dinner. That was like our family did.
And the funniest, goofiest,
my people, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
The goofiest shoes, the goofiest clothing, and just funny, bright, and so my family really took to her, including the very religious right wing of my family. And
I won them over.
Right? Easily, just like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got on with her family too, and her friends. And so that was the other thing, we really vetted each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We wanted it to be right this time.
Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like, you guys nurtured all relationships. So not just the commitment with each other that we're in this, we also appreciate and respect all of these relationships. So we have to be in all of these relationships together.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really important. We brought, this is our community, right?
Yeah.
These are our people. And so we made sure that we were both right with all of our people. Therefore, we have this automatic support system that holds us together as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
And
beautiful.
Yeah. And you guys had agreements, to do with thirds, right? These other people, how we're going to manage these people. I know we haven't talked about that, but I assume you guys would have had those.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that gets to your communication
Yeah,
question.
there you go. Oops.
There. Yes. Okay. Let me ask. Segue right in. Obviously, communication's like one of the most important pieces in a relationship. And, lots of research shows over 90% of communication is nonverbal. So, and that's what stood out to me about you guys when I first met you, was this nonverbal communication that I could see you guys communicating. I could feel you communicating in the room. And, if there's any tips and tricks that you want to, share for our audience, if there's anything, and also if there's any limitations as a clinician, Stan, and for you newly, Tracey, that you want to speak to for clients who maybe have done some type of work on their face, whether it's Botox or filler or surgery that impairs the face a bit.
Yeah.
So, we pay attention to each other. We even when we're in a large room, we know where each other is, and we work as a team. And a lot of that started off as very natural. So when I first started to do big public speaking, people would notice that Tracey would make movements or just walk toward me, and then I would shift, or walk away and I would
Which
shift.
was our cue. It was nonverbal, because you can't go.
Yeah.
And also people didn't really know who I was.
Later on she did do it. So
Or
don't.
I'll do
don't
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not an appropriate joke to make.
Oh yeah. But I would be wearing black, and I wanted to be invisible, but to everyone but Stan. And then I would just stand at the side of the room, and
but people would notice.
I'd come into his eyes, his gaze, and he'd go, okay, got to move on.
Yeah.
I'm getting off topic, and then I just move right back out. So we do a lot of nonverbal.
A lot of nonverbal stuff. And sometimes like, well, I don't understand the cue. What are you doing? What's this whole thing?
What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, and I'll stop in the middle.
Sorry, audience. Tracey, sorry. What, sweetheart?
I have no idea. Is that turn left, turn right? What?
Right. What's for dinner?
That one I don't know.
But nonverbal cues are so important when you pay close attention to your partner or the person you're talking to's face, because you can see. And so when you do the Botox or things that distort the face, then you lose that ability to read the face. Yeah. And also you do too much, you can't do stuff, and you lose the empathy.
Yes. I don't have a problem with Botox up here. I can still read very well, because these muscles up here,
it's when people do
but the smile lines should not be messed with, because that is a social cue that the person is friendly, because they obviously smile a lot. And then changing of the face is disturbing to all human beings that are close to that person. But particularly children don't like it. It frightens them, and they don't like a face changing. And
it's even like a dad when he shaves off a beard, and you see those videos where the kid's crying because he doesn't know.
Oh, there's a sweet one where the father is shaving only one side and his daughter is helping him. Yeah. And he's talking about it the whole time so she can be part of the process.
Right.
It's one of the sweetest videos.
But there's other videos where the kids are like freaked out.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, because it changes the whole thing.
Yeah, because we rely on the face so much And so when I was working with mother-infant pairs to do prevention early on, and I would see mothers or fathers that had you could tell a lot of work done, and their faces didn't move.
Yeah.
The children would start to get aggressive and want to hit the face. Very upsetting to see.
Get a reaction.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
but also just upset because they can't read, right?
Yeah.
There's no signal coming back.
Yeah.
And so Stephen Porges talks about this quite a bit, that he'll put a person, with severe autism up next to someone who's done a lot of facial work,
right.
and there are similarities in terms of the lack of expression and so on.
Yeah.
So that's important, and yet people also want to, if they can, stay looking young. But there's a point at which I think we've all seen distortion of a face, and particularly when it's in an actor or an actress, it just hard to understand, because that's their instrument. That's their instrument.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah. And helping, partners then to, both sides, but the person that has their face frozen, to have empathy, compassion for their partner that's misattuning. And like you said, feeling those biological wirings of frustration, and maybe I don't hit you, but I'm feeling all the frustration in my body of like, I can't tune into what your face is saying, or what you're doing, or what your meaning is behind what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, there's another phenomenon, and that is since the face is tightly connected to facial cranial nerves, and those are in communication with limbic areas, that if my face doesn't move, I start to become more affectively blind. Mm-hmm. I'm not picking up emotion as well, because we have to make the face to see the face, right? And so there's that. It's a temporary problem that can be reversed, but all sorts of issues when we change our face.
Yeah, it shows up.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we're running close on time, so we have a game for you guys. And only our audience who is going to be watching on YouTube will be able to understand it, because they're going to have to see you.
Yes.
So,
And take away your faces.
Okay. So no, you're going to have you guys close your eyes. Not yet. We'll explain it first. They're so good. They just followed.
Right.
Okay. We're going to ask you questions with your eyes closed, and you have to either point to yourself.
So this way or this way.
Point to your partner. Or if it's both of you, you can do like this. Like if it's both of us. So it's either me, you, or both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just fun questions.
Yeah, fun quesquestions. Okay, so close
Do we
your eyes.
get a prize at the end? Is this like the
I'm going to send you Sam.
what is it? The anniversary? The what was the show? It wasn't the dating game. It was the other one.
I don't know what's going on.
Whatever.
The Newlyweds.
Newlyweds.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is.
Yes.
You get a washer and a dryer.
Okay.
Oh, good. And we'll come clean your garage.
Yes, we'll come clean your garage.
Oh, you don't even want to say that.
That's all we need.
Okay, we're there.
Book a room for a week.
Yeah. Okay. Close your eyes. Get ready. Okay.
Who gets more speeding tickets?
Oh.
Or who drives faster?
Oh, we both do.
Who drives slower?
Yeah.
Who drives slower?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who said I love you first?
In the very beginning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, don't
close your eyes.
I knew what I'd see.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was me, but I don't know. Maybe I was holding out.
Okay, stay with it. Who likes to drink greens?
Drink greens?
Yeah. Drink greens. Green drinks. Who needs more sleep?
Actually.
Both. Yeah.
Keep your eyes closed. Who's more adventurous with trying new food?
Food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the better dancer?
Cute. Okay, you guys can open your eyes. You'll have to watch this after to see what you did.
Oh, I have to watch to know how we did.
So cute.
I love it.
You asked one question.
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to, like, if we could describe our relationship in one word, was that?
Oh, yeah, that's next. You're on it. You read the questions. You're on it.
We did this morning to
You're
make sure.
such good stewards.
We got up early so we could.
Right.
And we read them.
I mean, word or phrase. I mean, a word is hard, but you can describe it in a word or phrase.
It's so interesting because you asked that. And I just finished a class on trauma.
Oh.
It was a light quarter for me. I had trauma, addiction.
Oh, wow.
Psychopharmacology.
Wow.
And human sexuality.
Oh, wow.
Late classes. I know, it was a bear.
That's just the world right now, actually. Yeah. You're just in it.
I was just right there.
That's it.
And so when we were talking about like, where's your safe place?
Yeah.
And mine's home.
Yeah.
And it was the first word that really came up is like, where do I feel safe and most at ease and all that? And home just doesn't mean our house.
No, it's our wherever
us.
we go. Yeah.
And so we take home with us.
You kind of stole mine because I've always said that no matter where I go, we've been at some pretty awful places, both of us. But we're good when we're together. Yeah. I could give you some horror stories of things, places
we've been through, or active shooter at the LAX, things like that.
Us too. We had that same thing at LAX
when we came to see you.
When it was the same time. Yes,
LAX is the place to go for that.
Yeah, if you want to get scared, go ahead.
We saw a guy that day like die.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Oh, we
didn't.
We did.
We saw it.
We should laugh about it.
No, we should. Twice it happened though. Actually,
it did happen.
We should tell you some of the stories of our visits to you guys, and we've ended up in wrong ends of town and wrong hotel rooms. Like, oh man, there's many.
But what's interesting is how you guys are even describing your relationship, even as friends. That's us.
Yeah.
We're like home. We're extensions of our marriage, really, with each other. So I love that.
And so that is absolutely true for me. And I don't want to take too much more time, but I do have one quick story.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
We went to, I was speaking we were doing a couple retreat at this new place back east. It used to be a Jewish camp, and then
Omega.
Thank you.
You can tell that.
What?
You can tell that story?
Yeah. And we were there the first night, and it's raining, and we get in our room and it's infested.
Oh,
everything. The walls are crawling. Oh. The floor is crawling. The ceiling is crawling.
With bugs.
Every kind of bug.
I mean, sheets. It was on the bed. Everywhere.
Place.
Because we had left the windows open to get some air in, but there were screens. But these were like the little bugs that could get through the screen.
I think there was a problem with the screen.
Yeah,
I think so.
It might have been on the screen.
But it happened to be a weekend where Brene Brown or Tara Brach or somebody that big brought in crowds.
We couldn't move.
I went down. There was no place to move, so we were in this room. He hates bugs. He hates them.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
And so, do you want me to finish this story? Or you want to finish the story?
No, go ahead, finish the story.
We need to regulate you two first. Are you okay, friend?
Yeah, I hate bugs too. It freaks me out.
I know, you can just see it. And I go into, Rambo. I got to get, we need sleep. We're teaching the next day. We got to get this done. So I say, you got to go to sleep. I'm going to give you an Ambien. And you're going to sleep.
It's going to drug you.
And so I'm brushing the bugs away from my bed. And
then when the Ambien hit, I wanted to walk. I wanted to walk the neighborhood and see if I could sleep with somebody else.
Which is always a good thing when you're
no bugs.
And if they had ice cream.
Yeah.
Because I for ice cream.
So I had to stay up.
I don't do Ambien.
And gummy bears.
Oh no.
I don't do Ambien.
And so I stayed up for most of the night to make sure that he didn't leave the room, go wander the camp
to get ice cream.
Right.
Yeah. Find a new place.
But we got through it, and we woke up in the morning. The bugs were all gone.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe it was in our.
Right, was it your imagination? In our mind?
And then we had the guys come in and they sprayed and they did on the butt. Then we never opened the window. But it was one of those things where it's like, okay, what do we do? We don't have another room. We can't go sleep in the car because we don't have a car.
Oh man.
And so
that's where Tracey comes in handy, because being Jewish and being sheltered a lot in most of my life, that is an untenable situation for me. And that's when Tracey's just do it kicks in. And she sweeps the bugs off the sheets
and says, "Get in,
take an Ambien. We're going to make it tonight." All right. She stands guard so I don't go and bother the neighbors. And we got through it.
Yeah. Your dad was right? She's a ray of sunshine. She comes in, just sunshine. She just figures it out. Her rays, clean up the room.
It's MacGyver it. We call it.
She's actually more of a dude than I am. She's a daddy's girl. So she's a boy girl, which I love.
Yeah. Aww, I love that. You guys are so cute. So cute. Is there, to wrap it up, is there any advice you guys would give, to couples? I mean, you guys probably have so much.
Okay, let's narrow it down. If you can only give one piece of advice, left, you have one thing left to say that's going to be your mark on the world. No pressure.
Yeah, thanks. That wasn't written on the list.
No, it's a new one. Sorry. Okay, just one piece of advice that, but it's only one thing you can say that you think the world.
Don't organize around emotions or feelings or love. Organize around principles and purpose-centered principles that suit both of you as you plan for your devils, not just your angels going forward.
And mine is when you when you need to negotiate or work something out, go for the win-win. This is the partner you picked.
Yeah.
And if you get something at their expense, you lose too.
Pay for it.
Yeah.
So go for the win-win so that everybody walks away whole. Everybody walks away feeling good. And
it's a team sport, not a solo sport.
When you win, I win. We're in the same team. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you have so many great books, Stan.
Yes.
All of them are fantastic. And I advise
all of our couples to read. I'm like, read this one, listen to this one right now. Listen to this chapter of this one tomorrow.
Mine have to listen to Your Brain on Love to come see me. I just say, you have to listen to it first because it helps the therapy process. But so that's my go-to first. But is there a different one for you that you would recommend first couples to listen to or read?
Well, I just finished the second edition of Wired for Love. So it's updated, coming out March of next year, I think.
March of next year. Okay. But for now,
In Each Other's Care.
Yeah, In Each Other's Care, just really a good one. But I would also, if you're getting In Each Other's Care, I would recommend listening to a few of the podcast that Stan's on because it gives context to the book. Because that book is organized around what comes into all of your office.
As soon as you know some of the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful.
Yeah, our audience
that was written during COVID when I was seeing, I was starting to really think about the human condition and the problems that basically are part of actually the human condition, not attachment, not pathology, but just being human makes this very difficult. So,
those are huge topics you talked in that book for sure. Big topics about how you'll, cling to your own stuff out of fear, trauma, whatever, at the expense of the relationship. There's lots of gems in that book for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it says COVID, baby.
This is COVID, baby. Aw. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks,
guys.
COVID.
Well, thanks, COVID. Yeah, but thank you guys for coming on. We love you.
I love you so much.
It's just so
thank you. We adore both of you and your partners.
Very much. Very much.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Love you.
Connecting again.
Thanks so much for joining us.
We're really glad you're here with us on this journey.
The best way to support this podcast is to subscribe and give it a 5-star review.
See you next time.
This has been a Bread Dog Studios production.